At the same time, we had a supporting redundancy, I think you would call it. It wasn't quite that. But because there was no specific meaning that we were trying to convey. But we did use slow scan TV as well to send images over the telephone. As you know, it's a very cheap way of sending those sort of slightly slow frames of action, so the performance where it would take place. Now, a number of things were interesting about that. One was that the exhibition of work, the text, was everywhere, and yet nowhere. It was everywhere that anyone wanted to pull it out onto the screen. It wasn't just the Museum of Modern Art of New York. It could be simultaneously at any other museum, at any other studio, in any other house in the world that anyone who wished to come online to the system could enter into. But the text could move around the planet. Similarly, of course, images could do that. This is in Venice a couple of years ago, Venice Biennale. Now, in the Venice Biennale, it was quite interesting. I was commissioner for the Biennale this year, the theme of which was art and science. And the section that I was commissioner for, along with Tom Sherman of the Canada Council and Don Foresta in Paris, and Tommaso Trini in Italy, was called Art, Computers and Technology. Now, there were hundreds of artists that we wanted to involve in the Venice Biennale. There was no way they were all going to fly in to the Biennale. Of course, that wasn't necessary, because they could network in. That's one thing. The second thing was that we wanted to take the Biennale. The Biennale, for those of you not familiar with it, is supposed to be the high point of new art. High quality, new art in the world. Every country has its pavilion, presents its best artist or artists every 2 years. What we wanted to do was rather to blow that one slightly. All the privilege and all the phoniness that attaches to that. You know, the Biennale is open for 3 days before it's open to the public, and it's just full of dealers and critics who are working out prices and so forth. Not a pretty picture by any means. We wanted to explode the Biennale. We wanted to take the Biennale and pull it out and stretch it around the face of the planet. We were able to do that, of course, with telematic systems, because everything that showed up on those screens, we had 4 big screens in a space perhaps twice as big as this. And on those screens were all the incomings, all those images and texts that were coming into us from various parts of the world, and of course images that we were sending out. We were engaged in collaborative work. So whatever was going on at the Biennale could go on in Nebraska, could go on in Perth, could go on in any part of the world where that information was taken and worked with. So we were using slow scan as well, we were using telepacsimile, we were using any means that technology provides for us to be out of body and out of mind. This slightly droll comment came from the Australians over telepacsimile. And I think it points out the dangers that we have to be aware of. That one of the great problems with technology is that you get sort of technology freaks in art, as you do in any part of life, who just think that the technology itself will save them or is simply fun. The ideas that are developed must be wedded to the technology. The technology must be appropriate to the content, to the ideas, to the philosophy which is being developed. And I think that point is well made. I think I must draw this to a close